high-flying Eagles are coming into this week's fantasy preview, taking a look at Philly. Chip Kelly, big offense, and they've produced a ton of fantasy value from all aspects here over the last few seasons under Chip Kelly. Some new faces on this team, some guys out the door in less fortunate situations than they were in the past. DeMarco Murray's coming in is the big new face there. Moving from the division rival Cowboys. While yes, he's not going to see 300 plus attempts like he did in Dallas, but he's still going to get his touches. I think pretty 230, 240 is where you're going to see him at. I can't see Ryan Matthews really cutting into his workload a ton. I think you're going to see more Sproles downside his receiving game. That's going to be the case. But still, I mean, the way they mass produce on offense, there's just going to be enough to go around for the core guys there. Philly ranked 5th in passing attempts, 7th in rushing attempts, 1st in offensive plays, 11th in yards per play. Just a fantasy wet dream for Philly. I mean, it's ridiculous. Murray's coming off an 1,800-yard season, 13 touchdowns, 400 receiving yards. Not going to repeat those numbers, but I think the touchdowns is probably the easiest number that he could possibly duplicate there. I still think 250 attempts is your target at the most. 1,000 yards, a touchdown, 10 touchdowns is a pretty safe floor for him, and I think there is upside with him in Philly. And I keep seeing sliding him down the running back rankings, and I don't necessarily agree with it. So I'm definitely snagging him, if he's going to drop a little bit. I think he could very well pair up with two great running backs if Murray's your lead guy there. In a couple auction leagues, I see him go for way less than other backs. And I think he's still on par with some of those guys. Just in this offense, it's hard to really knock Murray. Looking at Ryan Matthews, I just don't think, it's not going to be enough for him to have any fantasy value other than really deep leagues. It's just not going to be consistent. Sproles kind of the same thing. Yeah, he's a PPR guy, but I don't think, with two other guys there, I think it's still going to be an issue from a week-to-week consistency standpoint. Passing game features a new Sam Bradford, whose durability has been an issue, not his talent over the since he's come into the league. Mark Sanchez is the backup in Philly who would jump right in, but as of now, Bradford's healthy and rocking, so it's kind of good news there. The targets are a massive improvement from St. Louis moving to Philly. You got, Jordan Matthews, Nelson Agholor. Those are huge targets for him. And, Zach Ertz, too. Granted, he can come back healthy and get going. So, big three guys. DeMarco Murray, decent offensive line that's been kind of hurt over the last few seasons. But if they can get anything to average, it's going to be a big year again. I think 3,500 yards and 25 touchdowns is a pretty good floor. I'm not too sure about the ceiling. Yes, in that offense, that's good enough. That's a good enough floor anyway. I don't think anything much higher than that for Bradford. Still a decent guy, but it's going to be tough to really stomach him, knowing that he could probably go down at any time, as with anyone. But, obviously the track record's been there of him being injured on the same knee twice. So that's an issue for me. But that's really the only downside to Bradford. Receiving core, lost Macklin, who really thrived last season. He's going to go down to the check down Chiefs. I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to what he was last year. But Nelson Agholor, Jordan Matthews already ready to lead the way. Zach Ertz as well. Matthews, second-year receiver, very stable floor coming into the season. I think he got 900 yards receiving and 6 or 7 touchdowns is a pretty safe floor. And I think the upside is huge. Snagging him as a wide receiver too, he's going to bring a wide receiver 1 upside. You got to like that. As for Agholor, primed for the wide receiver 2 spot in Philly. Speedy guy, runs pretty solid routes. Going to thrive in the system. I think he's going to jump in and get to work right away. So it's really, really encouraging. There we've seen a lot out of the preseason so far. You got to like him as a nice rookie prospect. Zach Ertz, expected to be ready for opening week. Needed a slight groin surgery. This actually has been knocking him down in drafts actually because they don't think he's healthy. So I think he's got some upside there. Yes, there's a lot of targets to share touchdowns with in Philly. Ertz is, down on the list a little bit because there's so many, but definitely a nice low end option there for the upside he brings. So Overall, I mean, guys, there's a lot to like about the Eagles, and you should definitely be trying to land a few.